with a snap of the finger, half the galaxy was wiped away, changing the universe forever. Now, with what's left of the Avengers, they must come together and find a way to take out Thanos and try to right what was wrong. On this episode of Movie Breakdowns, I review Avengers Endgame, starting now. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Zakka. And what is Movie Breakdowns? A movie review series where we look at new and old movies, give them a review, A through F, plus and minuses do count. And there's a movie you want me to review, let me know, and I'll try to get to it as best I can. Now, Avengers Endgame. Before I even jump into the whole thing, I do want to tell you that this first half of the video is going to be a spoiler-free, like no spoilers whatsoever. I do the best I can to keep it non-spoiler free part. And then the other half of the video is all spoilers. But before I even get to the other half, I will say my grade will end at the end of the first half of the video, and then the second half will have all the spoilers and my thoughts and breakdowns of exact things. So, you seen Infinity War. You seen how that movie ended so abruptly. Like, it just ended. Well, Endgame picks up right like as Infinity War ends. It picks up right at the end of Infinity War. So if you're somebody who watched Infinity War and they kind of forgot what happened, you can go and watch like Endgame and be like, oh, I remember this part. It's kind of like how the Incredibles 2 picked up when Incredibles 1 ended. Now, this movie is directed by the Russo brothers, who did a great job directing this movie. And I do want to mention, before I jump even more further into how the movie picks up and gets going, is that the movie is 3 hours long. It's 3 hours long, but it did not feel like 3 hours to me. So that's something you want to think about before going to watch this movie. Like, oh, okay, let me plan accordingly. Let me use the bathroom at this time. Let me make sure I don't drink any water or fluids, because I don't want to like leave the movie because it's 3 hours long. It's like a Star Wars movie. Prepare for it. So like I said before I decided to throw in the Russo brothers and take the time of the movie, yeah, it picks up with the end of Infinity War. It picks right up from there, and therefore you're like, okay, I understand what's going on. And now you get to see the members, what's left, which you see in the commercial: Captain America, Iron Man, Nebula, Black Widow, who else was it? Oh, War Machine and the Hulk. You get to see how they all like try to cope with everything and how they try to figure out what's going on. And then you also see in the trailers, Ant-Man is back, Scott Lang is back, and he joined the team and kind of like helped them come up with this mission to find a way to stop Thanos. And I'll leave it at that as far as the storyline of the movie. Now, this movie, like I said before, is 3 hours long. However, like I said before, it doesn't feel like 3 hours long. And it's the first time I actually like watched a movie and be able to pick out first act, second act, third act, and they would pick it up when it ended. When we pick up when the first act ended, the second act started, figure out when the second act ended, the third act started. I thought this movie flowed well, really well. But if you're somebody who's not really into like a slower paced Marvel movie, you might not like the beginning of this movie, because the beginning of this movie is slower paced. It shows you how everybody reacts to it. It shows you how they dealt with the trauma of Infinity War. Like in Iron Man 3, you saw how Iron Man 3, Captain America was nowhere near in that movie. And in Iron Man 3, you saw how Robert Downey Jr. or Tony Stark dealt with the acts and the actions and the trauma of Avengers. Well, in this one, you get to see how everybody's dealing with all the issues that happen in Infinity War. You see how they're trying to figure out, like, how can we cope? How can we live our lives? How can we do this? And some characters handle it better than others. It was so lifelike. It was so like, oh, I might not be able to react that way, or I might act like that character did if something like traumatic happened that changed the universe, it changed the world that we live in. Like it was written really well. I like that. I like that the beginning of the movie was kind of slow paced and trying to build up everything, because once it built up and this movie goes. You're in the seat. You're not like bored. You're like on the edge of your seat. There's multiple times in this movie where I literally was on the edge of my seat and I fist pumped. I was like, yeah. The guy next to me doing the same thing. The girl next to me doing the same thing. There are some tear-jerking spots in this movie where the person next to me, she cried, and I'm sure how the dude next to me felt, but I was like, huh, that is sad. So the storyline's good. The way the movie flows is great. I really thought it was put together really well. And once again, just like Infinity War, when you have 22 movies to set up such a big movie, it's kind of hard for you to mess up things because everything in this movie's already been laid out for you. You already know who these characters are. You already know what their backgrounds is. You don't need to try to introduce new characters. Heck, I can't think. And this is not a spoiler, but like everybody that's in the movie, you know who's all in here. There's nobody that gets introduced that you haven't seen before. And I think that's once again why Endgame works and why Infinity War works. Now, what's the better movie? In my opinion, I think Infinity War was the better movie. But just like Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2, and The Incredibles 1 and 2, the sequel is not that, or I guess this was the fourth one, but Endgame is not that far behind the first one. Maybe like one or two things that bugged me in this one that I'm not going to talk about. I'll talk about my spoiler section that Infinity War didn't really bug me about. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the storyline, and the music in this movie is great. I like the music. I like they did the touch and styles of different eras and different generations and different like parts and places of the movie. Like you heard certain songs, you heard certain things. You're like, oh, that fits this, that fits that fits this time, that fits that era, this flashback here. Like it was neat. It was really neat. Just like Marvel does it with everything. Man, they just keep doing great things. Character that sticks out the most in this movie, because as far as the actors and actresses, everybody in this movie, they all are great. Karen Gillan? Hold on, let me check this out real quick. So Karen Gillan, she plays Nebula. I'm not sure you can see this on my phone, but she plays Nebula, and she does a great job in this movie. Like, to me, I didn't say Karen, but Nebula never really stood out to me in most of the movie. She was there, but like she never really had the moment to really shine, and in this movie she shines a lot more than all the other ones, and I think she does a great job. I care about the character of Nebula now, where from watching the first Guardians of the Galaxy I didn't really care about, and then the second Guardians of the Galaxy you kind of warm up to her, and then in this one she really has a really good spotlight, and she does a good job with it. So does Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson does great. Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye, he does great as well. Like Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, they knock it out the park as always with their characters. Like, I don't know, what more can you say about this cast? They're all great. I just like the fact that Black Widow and Hawkeye, which these Avengers movies tend to show them more. I feel like in most, take it back, Infinity War, Black Widow wasn't really showing out that much. But like in Avengers 2, Hawkeye had more of a spot, and then in this one he kind of has more of a spot, and he kind of has more of a character, and you learn more about Hawkeye and learn more about Black Widow, and yeah, I just thought that was great. Rocket Raccoon, played by Bradley Cooper. Rocket Raccoon, he is probably the one who I would say he's there, but he doesn't really click with the rest of the group as he does with Guardian of the Galaxy, which makes sense why he does, because he's from a different universe, not different planet, different solar system. So they're all trying to get adjusted to Rocket. It's Rocket trying to get adjusted to the Avengers, and it's kind of funny where there's certain moments where they're like, this is a person here. This is a being versus just I think it's neat how they react to Rocket. And then Thor, Chris Hemsworth, who's, to me, he's now become more of a funny character. He's transitioned from a serious Thor to more of a goofy Thor, but he can be serious at times and it still works. But I think people who are a fan of Thor will really like Thor in this movie. Or you might not like Thor in this movie. You might not like how the way Chris Hemsworth portrayed Thor and how he was portrayed. I thought it was great, but that's just me. Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk, same, good. great guy, great character. Don Cheadle as War Machine, same character. He gets a little more pep in this movie, get a little more shine in this movie he didn't get in the other movies. But to me, Don Cheadle, I'll talk about it in the spoilers section, but Don Cheadle, I think his character could be written a little bit more differently, could a little more, like, he written a little more, I think. But again, what goes on in this movie plays to why Don Cheadle is not, why I should say War Machine acts the way he does because of the events and everything. So it makes sense, but at the same time, like, I can see it, but at the same time, like, why? And then last but not least, Scott Lang, who is played by Paul Rudd. Scott Lang's always, like, Paul Rudd is just great. It's great. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. And that's it. See, she sees the movie in theaters? Yes, she sees the movie in theaters. I'll probably go watch it a second or third time, just to be honest. And then grading time. I'm going to grade Avengers Endgame a solid A. This movie's a great movie. It's just as good as Infinity War. I think Infinity War is just a little bit better. But the storyline, I like how the way the storyline's built up. I like how the slow build builds into a big ending. I like that the movie is 3 hour long and doesn't feel like a 3 hour long movie. I like how everything flows. I like the music. The cast is great. I like how the movie's more about the Avengers, as Infinity War is more about Thanos. This one's more about the Avengers, and you can see their whole, like, struggle with everything. I freaking love this movie. I freaking love how the movie is written, and an A is good. An A is perfect. If you've seen Avengers Endgame, what did you think? Please let me know. Please put in the comment section below. And if you haven't seen it, go check this movie out. And thank you guys for watching this episode of Movie Breakdowns. The spoiler review is going to start right now. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. So if you've seen, I'm pretty sure you probably heard about this because everybody's talking about it, because Spider-Man Far Away From Home actually kind of gives a little hint on the events that could happen in Endgame, because Peter Parker he's back and he's overseas. How does Peter Parker get overseas when he was snapped away in Infinity War? Well, because they bring Peter Parker back. He survives. How they do it? They go back in time. So Scott Lang, Ant-Man, he is trapped in the quantum realm. If you've seen Ant-Man walks, he's trapped in the quantum realm. He gets free thanks to a rat. So he's considered dead. He's considered one of the people that goes vanished and swiped away. So Scott Lang is actually floating around in the quantum realm, and he's stuck in his van pretty much in the machine. Well, a rat comes by and pretty much like turn the machine on by accidentally and spits Scott Lang out. He gets spit out. Ant-Man is alive. He's like, okay, what's going on? Where's everybody? To him, only 5 hours have passed. But in the movie, only 5 years has passed. So Scott Lang is like in present day, like, what's going on? Because only for him, he only aged for 5 hours. But everybody else aged for freaking like 5 years. So I do like how they did that with Scott Lang. That's how they get the concept of time travel. Scott Lang goes talk to the Avengers. He finds the Avengers, and he figures out, one, he finds out what happened. He sees the monuments and everything, and how the first part of this movie is really a Scott Lang movie. Him comes to accepting of everything, and then saying, hey, I gotta find the Avengers. I have a theory that can work, and let's figure out how we make this happen. But before we get to Scott Lang in this movie, we also get the opening of Thanos dies. Not once, but twice. So at the end of the Infinity War, you see how Thanos goes to his like garden and sit there and just did the whole cheeky smile and just Well, Thanos actually used the Infinity Stones not once but twice. He used the first time, which causes the arm to be somewhat weak and destroyed, but the stones still work. The gauntlet, you see the movie, the gauntlet's kind of destroyed, but the arms still work. He snaps it again, breaking the Infinity Gem so nobody else can use it, because he didn't want to be tempted to refix what he did or kill off more people. So he snapped it again and broke the Infinity Stone. The Avengers, what was left, would consist of Brie Larson, who is Captain Marvel. She's in the movie, and she like saves Robert Downey Jr. from space because he's dying, or Tony Stark from space. Nebula and Tony Stark are together, and they're on the Guardian ship, and he's about to die. She saves him, which I do like the touch. I think it's CGI, but Tony Stark was like Braille, and literally like he had because he got deformed and everything, where he was like super skinny. I like that little touch there to show that, okay, he's pretty much on the brink of death. And Brie Larson saves him, Captain Marvel saves him, brings him to Earth, and he's like, so we shouldn't go fight Thanos. What's gonna change? What's gonna change? Thor's sitting there like TikTok because he feel like he messed up. So they find out where Thanos is at. They go to his planet. Thor, Hulk, Brie Larson, I keep calling her Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, Captain America, Black Widow, Rocket, Nebula. They all go to Thanos' planet and they attack Thanos while he's like pretty much fragile, can't really move, have his face is scarred and burnt. So you see the results of the Infinity Gauntlet, what using the Gauntlet can do. It nearly killed Thanos, but he was able to, Thanos is a strong dude, so he's able to fight it off. And Thanos, who's by the way played by Josh Brolin, he pretty much gets killed right off the bat. Like, they talk to him, he tells them what happens, and he's like, I'm inevitable now, what I've done can't be undone, and Thor chops his head off. And when Thor does that, Thor chops his head off, and they like ask Thor, what did you do? Thor's like, I aimed for the head. He walked off. Like, dude, I like that. Yeah, I really like that. Like, okay, like he kept the part of Infinity War, which just happened, and he's like, I aimed for the head. Which I think the figure was like 21 days before the events that they killed Thanos. So 5 years later, everybody's coping. Captain America has hope. Black Widow trying to keep the governments together and trying to figure out how to save the world and keep everything in order. Thor is off on his own, and New Asgard was another part of it's a town somewhere, the Netherlands probably, wherever Thor is at. Or Iceland, wherever he's at. Asgard is there, they rebuilt. Valkyrie's in this movie, she's back. Freaking yes. Courage is back. So people from Ragnarok are in this movie, which is great. I love that. So they're there. Rocket and Hulk, by the way, who Bruce Banner put, him and Hulk came to the agreement where they'll split, where Bruce Banner takes over the brain of the Hulk. So he's not as strong or not as rage and filled as normal Hulk, but he is the Hulk at all times, and people are taking pictures with him. He's more of a scientist Hulk, like Dr. Hulk. I think it's one of the characters in the comic book where the Hulk is literally Bruce Banner takes over the Hulk and that control of the Hulk, so he's controlling the Hulk. And Bruce and Rocket goes and talks to Thor, and Thor's let himself go. Thor is fat. He is out of shape. He is drinking all the time, like just down on his luck, wearing saggy clothes. It's like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse with Peter B. Parker. It was that version, but of Thor. It was hilarious. And Corey's in this movie, they're playing freaking Fortnite. Like, they're just playing PS4 and video gaming all the time and drinking beer. Like, Thor does not give a crap, and he gets brought back into it, and Thor takes a little bit to come together, but Thor is probably one of the best things in this movie. When he powers up, he gets both Mjolnir and his axe. He can go back in time. So both Mjolnir and Warhammer, wherever the axe is now, and he turned his armors up, and he said a fat, like he's literally a fat dude in his armor. I thought it was great. I thought Thor, it was too funny. It turned out it's funny to look at him like Thor is still fat, like he didn't slim down. And I like they didn't just slim him down because he got his powers back, because he's actually using his powers. It's great. But they go back in time. I feel like I'm jumping all over the place in the spoiler review, but they go back in time, and they go back to 2012, 2014, and 2015, I believe. So, oh no, not 14, 13. So they go back to the final, the Infinity Gems in time. So they go, at one point they're all in New York, which the time stone is with the, not the master, what's her name? The girl from Doctor Strange, not the higher power, pull my phone up. The Ancient One. So the Ancient One is in this movie. She's actually in New York at the time of the invasion by Loki. And Bruce take care of her. He go talk to her and get the time stone from her, and she managed to convince him, or he managed to convince her that they need the time stone. While Ant-Man and Captain America and Captain America and god dang it, Tony Stark goes and talks to, like, tries to take the Tesseract from from Loki, who's now has his right. So they wait till he gets captured by the Avengers, and they try to take it, but Loki somehow gets it and floats on out of there because they messed this up. Captain America does say Hail Hydra because he knows that Hydra is part of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I thought was pretty cool. And they kind of do a hint to Winter Soldier. Like, there's a lot of throwbacks to movies in this movie. Like, you seen Winter Soldier, you're going to get clips from Winter Soldier. You seen Guardians 1, you get clips from Guardians 1. Like, there's a scene where War Machine and Nebula are watching Peter Quill as he walks in the opening of Guardians of the Galaxy 1. And they're playing the music, come and get your love. But they take a music out of it and you just hear Peter Quill dancing to it. And War Machine's like, he's an idiot. Your leader's an idiot. He's just dancing, kicking things, and it's just goofy. The whole thing is goofy. So Thanos from another universe, another dimension, comes to the current dimension, current timeline, and they fight Thanos. Thanos fights in this timeline, or the new Thanos fights against the current Avengers, and you see the big three fight Thanos. So you get to see Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America all at once fight Thor. Fight Thanos. And it's a badass fight. The fight is great. And then Captain America picks up Mjolnir. He is worthy. Thor is excited, and they together team against. Oh, it's a great fight. Oh man, this whole movie, like, there's so much in this movie, I can't explain it all. I can't talk about it all, but it's definitely worth the watch. Now, the one thing that did bother me was Brie Larson. Captain Marvel was in this movie for maybe what, 10 minutes, 5 minutes? She shows up at the beginning, she shows up at the end, and still doesn't do much against Thanos. Like, she fights him, but then she gets beat. Scarlet Witch had a better fight against Thanos than I felt Brie Larson did. Like, it was it was kind of a letdown. I felt like, why did we have a Captain Marvel movie beforehand if she didn't really do much in Endgame? And I'm like, what if it show her power and how powerful he is? We could have seen that in Endgame, and we didn't need Captain Marvel. We could have got Captain Marvel after this movie and see Captain Marvel handling everything versus her trying to like just figure out her origin tale. We didn't need Captain Marvel origin tale so early. We could have got it later, like how they did with Black Panther and Civil War. To jump Black Panther in there, and you see Black Panther do his stuff, and then he had his own movie where he became the actual king. We could have done the same thing with Brie Larson and Captain Marvel. That's just my opinion on it. But she didn't really have much of his part. Spider-Man does come back. Spider-Man has some good parts as always. Now, the deaths. Gamora is still dead from Infinity War. Black Widow dies because how you get the stone, how you get the Soul Stone. Somebody has to die. So Black Widow and Hawkeye, who's like a mercenary going out taking out all the bad guys to pretty much right what was wrong, he with Black Widow goes and try to get the Soul Stone. They try to both sacrifice each other. Like Hawkeye try to kill himself, but Black Widow won't let him. And then Black Widow try to like sacrifice herself. Hawkeye won't let her, and they both fall over. You think Hawkeye's gonna do it? Black Widow catches him in midair, and Hawkeye grabs her, but can't let her. He can't hold on for her forever. She lets go, and she's dead. So she's gone, and then they make another Infinity Gauntlet. The Hulk was able to snap everybody back into existence. And it's a giant battle. Like, it was like Ready Player One, but on steroids, but it became the final fight scene. Like, you seen everybody show up. Pepper Potts, for some reason, is an Iron Woman, and she's fighting with Hawk and Iron Man. Like, it was great. Valkyrie comes out. Valkyrie does it, and they have a whole female like section where the female cast all stand together, and they all fight off the bad guys and help Spider-Man get through. It was great. It was phenomenal. I love the gigantic fight scene at the end of the movie. Was whoa, whoa. That's a horrible woo. Two clefts in the rib. Woo! I can't woo right now. Whatever. It was great. It was great. Woo! God, my woo is bad. What's going on here? But anyway, it was great. It was a great movie. Great finale. Iron Man dies. He's the one who gets out of the big three. He's the one who dies. Iron Man dies. He snaps away Thanos. But the power of the Infinity Gauntlet is too much. He's only human, and pretty much scars him and pretty much burns his insides, and he dies. But Iron Man has a kid, so his kid's gonna be growing up, become, I guess, Iron Woman, and then Pepper Potts and Spider-Man kind of live on Iron Man's legacy. And then you also have Captain America, who goes back in time, give the gems back to their correct for universes, but he does not come back as he should. He skips the warp hole and ends up living his rest of his life as a normal human, and pretty much becomes old and like on the brink of retirement. So get old man Steve Rogers, and old man Steve Rogers, by the way, gives his shield to Sam Wilson, who becomes the next Captain America. I'm so ready for this. Captain America Falcon, let's go. The movie's great. It's great. I think they tied up everything nicely, and now I'm ready to see. I'm excited to see the next phase of the new Marvel movies, cause yeah. Well, that's it, guys, for my spoiler review. I'm trying to think of anything that I really missed or I want to point out and really talk about. The Hulk. I didn't talk about the Hulk. How Bruce Banner to the Hulk. Bruce and the Hulk are one person now. Trying to think of anything else I want to talk about. Nebula is a big part in this movie. She also brings Thanos to the good guys, and she also helped Gamora, the different universe Gamora, help defeat Thanos. Everybody comes back. You gigantic battle. Trying to think of anything else in this movie that I really point out. I think I hit all the main parts. Fat Thor, Rocket. That's it. That's it. Hawkeye's going around doing mercenary stuff because he ends up getting the movie. He loses his kids. You see in the trailer, he loses his kids. He's gonna go on the rampage. I think that's it. Go watch this movie, guys. And thank you guys for watching the episode of Movie Breakdowns. I really appreciate it. See you next time. Keep being awesome. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I really appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe, and tell a friend about my series. Tell a friend about Grind Towards Success. Tell a friend about the Movie Breakdown series. If you really like these episodes, I really appreciate it. It means so much to me. It means so much. I can't tell you how much it means. Like it's like I'll be really grateful you just told a friend and share and subscribe to the series. And thank you guys for watching this. Also, if you want to follow my journey outside of YouTube or Facebook, you can go to my Instagram page and you can follow me on my Instagram page at Ali_Zakka. It's right here. Put it right here in my face. That way you're like, where's his face at? Well, it's right behind the Instagram logo. Yeah, but you can follow me on my Instagram page. And also, if you want another episode of Grind Towards Success or Movie Breakdowns, you can watch the episode of Grind Towards Success right here. You can watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns right there. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. See you guys next time. Keep being awesome.